right, what is up? I grow soil back in the Squid Juice. This is round two, officially round two. This is the soil. This is a soil sample. I've had it. I've had two of them sitting. One of them been managing it, managing the moisture. This is my sample now, using paper towel at the top just to help keep the moisture in. I've been managing these carefully every day, making sure that I have my moisture levels at 40% roughly. And then same thing, half a cup. This is without the squid juice. So right now I'm in the one with the squid juice, and just even turning this on, this is going to be pretty cool. Looking at, look at this. And I was all up in this compost. This is a gastro treat. Just digging away. So right away, I this is a soil sample that a compost sample that was purchased. It was very expensive, higher end compost, and I wanted to use this because I wasn't exactly happy with the biology I was looking at in this said compost. I was happy with the aquatic biology, and knowing the person that made this, well, I don't know him personally, but I know that they know what they're doing. So I was guessing that due to shipping, the biological side of things were not necessarily there. So looking at this gastrotreat go off is exciting to me because I can also see things in the background moving that I'm very familiar. I've made myself very familiar with this compost. So, and this actually, this is a, yeah, I think it's a gastrotreat. It's either yes, hairy back, they're also known as. I'm going to back up. I'm at 200 right now. So again, look at it. There we go. We just dove in this thing and there's already so much more moving. And you see all these little strands here. These little strands I'm recognizing as the squid juice particles, whatever's in them. Look here. Here's a nematode. That is pretty cool. And I'm going to tell you why I think that's cool. And again, I would have to do a lot more research, but this particular sample had a lot of nematode dower larva. I'm going to show one of these on the as a picture here when I edit this, when I prepare this video. Nematode dower larvae are nematode in their dormant state. And I noticed several of them in their dormant state in this particular compost. They will do that when they are not ready. They're not happy. They'll do that if there's not enough food. They'll do that just because they're getting moved around. Just triggers in the soil will say, time to protect ourselves. So immediately finding a nematode, when I didn't find one living nematode through all the samples I did of this, is exciting to see. I did find the dower larva. Now, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This right here is exactly what I'm looking for by putting the squid juice in my soils and the soil samples, because I want to see what it triggers to wake up, what it triggers as far as the biology. They say, hey, time to wake up. There's food in here. Look, there's another one. You see, this looks like it could be coming out of a dour state. I mean, it looks, because it kind of looks like the shape of in its dour form. I'm going to hit it with a light that they don't like it, fluorescent lights. Yep, bam, there he is. So it's well and alive. I should have zoomed in on its mouth part first before I set it off. But look at the mouth part on that. That looks like it could be a fungal feeding predatorial nematode. I'm looking at that right there. It looks like a spear. There are two spores here. So I'm going to back up. I'm going to go back to 100. So right away, I've seen more predatorial life in this compost than I did throughout. And now what we'll do, there's a nematode egg, which means that these nematodes have been up and going. That right there looks like a nematode egg to me. I'm going to get even closer. Yeah, I would definitely call that. I mean, nothing's ever definite here, but I'm definitely going to call that a nematode egg. There's diatoms here, which are what this soil sample is excellent for. It's sent me down a bigger rabbit hole because I'd like to match the aquatic biology in this with the thought of, man, having that much diatom and the type of biology that we put out in our soils and our composts. Anyway, we're deep in that. So I'm already seeing a lot more predatorial life in this compost, and I knew it was in here. See, that's the deal. There's another nematode. I knew it was in here. This is I made a video on this. This is I'll post a thumbnail here, and actually I'll put the video at the end of this. This is latent stuff, and this is what it's all about. Biology knows best. Biology knows when it's time to take a break, when it's time to relax. Look, another nematode. Just to look at this field of view, dude. I'm telling you, yes, this is exactly what I was looking for. This is exactly what I believed that this squid juice would do. You've got gene transfers. Oh no. This I've got 1, 2, 3. I got 2 nematodes, 2 ciliates going on here. Let me get closer to these guys. This ciliate here, I recognize it. It's got a complicated name for me. For some reason, I cannot remember that. I'll put a picture of that ciliate. And the other one split on me when I dove in. Look at the life there. I'll post a video at the end of this of what this compost looked like pre squid juice. And the idea, what happens if people don't have squid juice and they have this compost, when they put it in their soil and they start feeding it, things will start waking up. There's a testate amoeba there. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for all the life that's waking up. I don't know what that is there. All right. I mean, I'm going to call this so far good. And again, I'm going to keep testing this stuff, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it with my compost. But I'm very confident it doesn't. It doesn't take a genius for me to figure out why this is happening. There's another nematode. So if I were to go to, let's just do this. I should have started with this. Let's go to 40. Let's mow this quickly. There's another nematode. Another nematode. So we've already seen maybe 4 or 5 nematodes. 6 nematodes. Dang, 7. Wow. 8. I'm at 40. I'm way zoomed out. 9. 10. Right? So I'm barely moving through the slide too. There's a ciliate jamming out there. Another nematode there. There's 2 there. Ciliate there. There's another one. 3 here. Wow. So, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, Squid Juice has arrived. Bang, bang, bang. Let's go, Squid Juice. This is what it is. Now I'm gonna really deep dive this product, but this is what I'm looking for. We're spraying the garden with it. More nematodes. On my desk, by the way, this has not been outside. These nematodes were in the system. which means that if I had to guess, because I can only guess at this point, I just barely started digging into this, is that they signal to these Dao larvae, they signal to these nematodes, it's time to wake up, there's food here, there's energy here. There is, whoa, there's ciliate, another nematode. That's that crazy looking ciliate that I'll for that. Two more nematodes. I mean, we're well over 15, 17 nematodes. Another big nematode. So at this point, I'm just redundant. Every field of view, just about, I'm getting a nematode. And if you actually quantify it that way, I am getting a nematode every field of view. Look at this down there. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun with this. Killing it. Another one there. So anyway, what's going on here? Look at all this. This is some type of filament, some hyphae. This is what I'm saying. Is it telling the hyphae, let's go? Because this was not in the samples. Could this be actinobacteria? This could be whatever it is. It's extremely uniformed. I'm not seeing septa right away. It's a fungus. It's some type of fungi. Unless it's like an actinobac. No, but look at this, dude. Let me get even closer. So that looks like a piece of septa. This might be actinobacteria. Streptomycetes, which is beneficial. I can see bacteria inside of it, which means that is not pathogenic, which means that this is waking it up. It's waking up the biology. If I had to guess, I mean, not guess. I'm looking at it. So now what I'll do is jump over the one that same sample, 40% moisture, that has not been taking on the squid juice. Look at this guy. It's a better shot of that ciliate. Look at this, man. I'm telling you this. Anyway, that's doesn't surprise me. I'm just happy to see it. It's kind of when you kind of know something, you feel it, you know it's going to pop off, and bam, here we are. Then we'll be able to compare this to results that we're out there spraying with it too. So we're just broadcasting it over one side of Gardens and Glass. There's an Arcella there. Anyway, 14 minutes in already. I'm gonna call it round 2, Squid Juice. A lot more hyphae, a lot more filamentous stuff going on here. I believe that this type of actino or streptomyces has woken up, and this is a good shot of it here. So we've given the biology a lot to eat, and it's waking up and it's doing exactly that. Which is why you got to keep your soils fed. That's I think that the prebiotic side of things slips off by the wayside. You can add all the microbes you want, but if you don't have food for them, then what are you doing? send them away. All right, so here we are with the same quantity of soil without the squid juice. I just managed the moisture rate at the same level, and I'll explain that. I've learned just through testing so many composts that moisture levels change your sample, even depending on how much moisture you have. In this case, 40% is my number. I don't know if that's just where it feels right. This is where I like to manage it. I think going too heavy is going to promote a lot more ciliates. Certain biology wake up, and 40%, I think some of the research is done. And the reason I do that is because if you order some of the top end composts, they'll send it to you at 40 to 50% hydration. They've done the work. I'm not going to, pay for that type of research. It's already done out there, and it just feels right, looks right. What that what you cannot do is I guess you got to put in the work, right? I've looked at so many samples at so many saturation levels, and if 40% is the thing, I'd have to agree. So I'm at 40 time magnification, and I want to mow now the way I just did over there, and see what type of nematode action that we're gonna have. And you know what? That might be so. This right here, if that is a dour larva nematode, this would be beautiful if I can display this. No, there's one up here. There's one right there. Yes. So here's what I'm describing when I say or explaining with the dour larva nematode. Let me cover the bottom of my. You see how this thing is fluorescing? That is a nematode in its dormant state. And this is what I was explaining about this compost. I'm seeing a lot of them. This is the most I've seen in this dour larva state. Maybe not the most. I have tons when I'm moving compost. So yes, there's a lot in here though. So going back to the sample with the squid juice, this is what I mean when I say it woke everything up. There's signals going on that are saying, all right, there's food here. Let me go back to 40 and keep mowing. I'm so happy I found that. It just really just hits this thing home. And if I just did this with the epi light on, I'd probably find more. Maybe that's one there. No, anyway, I'm gonna keep mowing. So we already we already got the W with squid juice, because even in this many field of views, I'm not seeing anything moving yet. Any predatorial microorganisms, but I know they're in here. And when a compost is done and it's done right, these microbes, they take a nap. They're like, all right, let's wait till there's more to eat. Let's wait till we're introduced to, soil mixed into a pot with food and then watered and then given a little nutrition or love. That's their job. They I even made this chunky, by the way, guys, which is almost wouldn't have been fair to squid juice, but this is why it's so dense here. I wanted to get as much organic matter, because this is really where you see, you kind of cheat here. You can see a lot of nematodes, and I'm really trying to prove this to the opposite direction, because I know I don't want to be biased. I believe in the product, and I don't know why anybody wouldn't, considering that it's from the ocean, and we know what we know about it. We know the science behind it. We have the lab work on it. We know the properties it brings, and even if you threw all of that out the window, the stuff's from the ocean. It's healthy for us. Go look at the health. I tend to go look at what the health benefits are for our us, and if it's healthy for us, it's healthy for the plants. But I mean, honestly, I'm at 100 now. We're not seeing the activity. That looks kind of cool though. So with the squid juice, we woke this thing up, and we're showing the full potential of this soil. If we're even showing that. But I believe that this. I believe at this point that the squid juice has the power to show that, and it's demonstrated here. I can see it. Right. There's nothing other than fact to me when the microscope is showing me what I'm looking for. I mean, we were looking at nematode after nematode after nematode, and then, again, I'm not saying that they're not in here because they obviously are. The squid juice woke it up in the other sample, same bag. It was a 1 pound bag that cost $25. By the way, it's an extremely high end. You can see all of these diatoms in here. This is the same soil sample. So happened with a good worm casting too. A good worm casting, it may look shot at first. It's not. If it's a good worm casting, you're going to wake up the biology. But there's the diatoms. So again, I'm going to wrap this up. I have this fungal hyphae, but that explosion of filamentous, what I believe is actinobacteria of some sort, which is beneficial. You don't see it here. So here we are. I'm going to wrap this one up at 6 minutes. I don't need to go any further. If I will, but I'm not going to drag you through it. I'm going to look at this all the way across, all the way through, frame for frame for frame, just because what I did with the squid juice one. But let's go, man. Let's go squid juice. I'm going to start now feeding it to microbes, feeding it to biology. I'm not done with this product, but I'm definitely on it. So, again, I grow soil this time. I'm really out.